Hey guys, today is the final lesson of Unit 5. Yes, the final lesson. It is a very short unit. And we're going to take what we've already learned about proportions and apply them to scale drawings. Now, I want to show you something cool. I'm pretty old. Back in my day when we would take family vacations, we would have to open up this map. It would fold up and we'd have to open up this big, huge map to figure out how the distance and where we are going. But today, and I don't know how much you can see this, I'll try to show it to you close. This is the distance from Kane Middle School to Denver, Colorado. Denver is where my husband's side of the family lives, and we would go there for vacation sometimes. It's beautiful. If you ever have an opportunity to go to Colorado, you should go. And so you can see that this is, let's see, it is 814 miles. The drive would take almost 13 hours to do. So I can show you on my little phone, I can show you 814 miles, 814 miles. So this is a scale of the actual distance, because you know that 814 miles is a long, long time. Even driving a car at a fast pace would take almost 13 hours to get there. So that's what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be using scale. Have you ever seen those little cars, like little toy cars? Like they're a scale of big, fancy cars. Or dolls or all kinds of stuff. We have scales of buildings, all kinds of things. So that's what we're going to be learning about today. So a scale drawing is a proportional, two-dimensional, think like a map, like a piece of paper, drawing of an object. They can represent objects that are larger or smaller than the actual drawing. A scale is a ratio between the two measurements. Now, we've talked about ratios when we started this whole thing back in the last unit, the unit 4 that you just was tested on. The very first day of that unit, we learned about ratio. A ratio is just a comparison of two quantities. So that's what scale is. It's a comparison of two quantities. But these quantities are going to be measurements, always measurements, like inches to feet or inches to miles. It shows how a side or length in a scale drawing is related to an actual object. Scale, I'm right here. Scales are typically shown as a ratio of two numbers separated by a colon. Now, the very first day, again, we learned about ratios. We learned about there's 3 ways to show a ratio. You could write it like this. You could write it like 1 to 20, or you could actually write it like a fraction. And that's what we're going to actually be doing a lot today, because we're going to be solving missing proportions, these scale drawings, missing sides, lengths, distances, by setting up proportions and solving it, just like we've been doing for like 2 or 3 weeks now. All right, so, and it says here, therefore, to solve a scale drawing problem, we're just going to set up a proportion. In fact, tomorrow we're going to do a really cool activity with this. So here's example 1. It says, on a road map, the distance between 2 cities is 2.5 inches. The scale map is 1 inch to 30 miles. So there is your first ratio. They're giving it to you. You always want to start with the ratio that they give you. Here it's just stated. Sometimes they'll give you a key. A key will just be like a little side box, and it'll say key. And it will tell you the dimension switch, or the original ratio. And in this case, it's inches to miles. Now I'm going to write this like a fraction. I told you that that's one way to write a ratio. So it's 1 inch and 30 miles. So you'll start pretty much everything that way with a label and the original ratio. Then if you remember, it says that we're going to have 2.5 inches. Well, is that going to go on the top or is that going to go on the bottom? It's going to go on the top because that's where I put my inches. And now you can see what we've been doing for a couple weeks again, except here I'm going to multiply with a decimal. 3 times 5 is 15, 6, 7, 1 decimal, 75. So that is 75 miles. All right, if you can do that, you're going to have a whole lot of fun with the activity we do tomorrow. Let's look at another one. We have a picture. Okay. Now the picture, if you look, has a width of 28 inches and a height of 11 inches. Now we're going to do this situation twice. At one point we'll look at the height, and at one point we'll look at the width. So we always have to pay attention. What is it asking us for? Example 2, the art class is planning to paint a mural on the outside wall. A mural is just a very large painting. The figure is a scale drawing of the wall. The scale used is 2 inches equals 3 feet. So I'm going to set that up as my original ratio. Inches to feet. 2 inches, 3 feet. Now this part of the problem is asking me for the height. So I will look at the mural and the height is 11 inches. I am not going to look at the width. I don't care about the width right now, so I'm going to ignore it. 2 times x is 2x. 3 times 11 is 33. Divide by 2. Divide by 2. Top in the box. 2 goes into 3 one time. 2 goes into 13 6 times. I'm going to add a decimal and bring it up, add a 0 and bring it down. 2 goes into 10 5 times. That's 16.5. 16.5 what? Well, if you look where the x is, it's in feet. So the answer is 16.5 feet. Let's move on. Okay, I'm going to use the same exact ratio. I don't have to find any other information. I have it here. It's inches and feet. 2 inches, 3 feet. Then this question is asking me for the width. So now I will ignore the height and only look at the width. It's 28 inches. It's inches. So it needs to go on the top. Again, I'm going to cross multiply, and I'm going to divide 20. Well, first off, let me cross multiply. I am just not smart enough to know this. 6, 7, 8, it's 84. Divide by 2, divide by 2, x equals 84 divided by 2 is 4. 2, and I am done. 42. So again, what are we looking at? X is in feet, so it's 42 feet. All right. I know you got this. If not, just refer back to these notes. I hope you took the notes. I hope you listened through the notes. You didn't just copy them, but you actually listened through the notes, copied them down. You will learn something. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.